everyone, it's James Martin here. Welcome back to another brand new video. This is a very exciting video today because I'm here speaking with COLBY EUBANKS, who's a videographer, filmmaker, YouTuber, and TikToker. So I'm here with COLBY right now. Thanks so much, COLBY, for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
So COLBY, why don't you just let us know a bit about who you are, what kind of stuff do you do, what's your background all about?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm like a little bit of everything: filmmaker, content creator for like TikTok and YouTube, videographer, all that type of stuff. I mostly do like a lot of like action sports based stuff, but I'm kind of working my way into like the commercial, documentary, more traditional side of things right now.
Nice. So how exactly did you get started in that?
Yeah, so I always was like running around with like my dad's like dad cam when I was little. Me and my brother would just film stupid stuff. I always had like a good time doing that. I was a skier. I still am a skier, but I've been a skier most of my life. A big part of skiing is the filming process and like filming your friends do stuff. So I bought a GoPro. This was back in about 2014. So I bought a GoPro just to like film myself skiing, film my friends skiing, and then I kind of got pretty good at it. And I just kept on going, bought my first like DSLR about 2 years after that, and things just kept on snowballing.
That's cool, because yeah, I was going through a lot of your videos and I noticed that you did do primarily a lot of videos with skiing, and I find that cool. That I figured that you must have had a bit of a training in skiing in order to be able to ski comfortably while filming at the same time. How were you able to sort of mesh the two together? Or is it just about being comfortable with that?
Yeah, it definitely starts with just first off being a solid skier. I mean, the better skier you are, the better filmer you're gonna be, just because they go so hand in hand. So before I even started filming, I already had 7 years of experience skiing. So then at that point, like, skiing was just, it was second nature to me. I didn't really have to pay attention to what I'm doing. So at that point, I was able to bring into a camera into the factor. So then that way I can focus on actually filming, because I don't have to put that much effort in skiing. And it's really, once you get the hang of it, it's really super easy, and it's extremely nice because your shots are always smooth because you're just gliding across snow when you're not running. And yeah, once you become a pretty good skier, it's pretty easy.
And something else that I noticed too is while I was watching these clips, it suddenly dawned on me that, you know, the number of times you've probably had to go down the hill just to get the various different shots. So I'm wondering, does it require a lot of time and a lot of patience, or are you able to somehow get like 3 tricks into one hill kind of thing?
It all depends on what the athlete's doing. Sometimes we'll take a run and they will land everything in a row when we just have one good line. Sometimes we're just completely focused on one trick and we will be going over and over for like literally hundreds of times trying to get that shot. I've always said that getting a lot of filmmakers who get their start in action sports are extremely talented now, more in like the traditional side of things. Like, I'm always finding like new directors and stuff I watch, and I look them up and I found they got their start in skateboarding or skiing just because that constant repetition and working in those harsh conditions, it just breeds really good people behind the camera. If it's like a super difficult trick, we are going over and over, and I'm like, sometimes we'll hike the feature where like you take off your skis, walk back up, and I'm doing the same with them because I love incorporating lots of movement into that. So I'm walking up to the hill, walking down, just
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Just having patience, and you just keep going and going and going until at least you have something that's really, really good.
Yep.
One of the videos that I saw was your mission trip to Haiti.
It was Mexico. It was almost Haiti.
Right. So tell me about creating that video. That was a really, really nice documentary. There was a lot of different things incorporated. So what was the process of putting that together?
Yeah, so that video was kind of all over the place because, like I said, it was supposed to be a trip to Haiti, and then kind of last minute it changed, and then it turned into Mexico. So that was something I was just working on with my church, and it was a super run and gun project, kind of just on the trip itself, just filming. And that's pretty much how my process goes with most things. Just film as much as you possibly can and figure it out later, because especially with the type of, especially action sports stuff, like you cannot make a plan because nothing ever goes to plan. And that trip didn't really go to plan either. So it was kind of just the same principle, just filmed around. And then once I got back, I went through what I had, and then I kind of started writing down the basis for all the interviews. And then I was able to do all the interviews and have the interviews kind of guide the story throughout that.
Do you normally record everything that you do, or do you usually have some sort of an idea like, okay, I'll film a bunch of skiing, or I'll film this conversation here because I might use this later on? How do you go about that?
Yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I mean, sometimes I am intentional with what I'm doing. I know, like, oh, okay, this will work really good here. Sometimes I'm just filming, and it just, when I'm editing, I turn on, oh, I'm glad I filmed that. It just depends.
Yeah, it's kind of that sort of vlogging mentality as well in my mind, because it's kind of hard to, you kind of want to record everything, but at the same time you do need to have some sort of an idea as to like, okay, what can I use, what can I not use? I imagine you probably have like thousands of hours of footage of just skiers going downhill and stuff like that.
Well, with that, I kind of break the rules, and I do delete footage. I've been doing it long enough. I know I don't need 100 takes of this person trying this thing. I'll keep the good ones, and then I'll also keep like a few ones that like look really good at like the start, and then they mess up for like cutaway shots. It would be so expensive to keep every single time I press the record button. So
oh, I get it. I 100% get it. Did you, when you came to creating that video about your mission trip to Mexico, did you initially thought like, okay, I want to document this process, I want to tell a story, or was it sort of like after the event you're like, you know what, I think this would be a really cool story to tell? So how do you come up with those ideas?
Yeah, it turned into a lot bigger thing than I originally planning, because it's a 40-minute like fully fledged documentary. And originally I was kind of just asked to go on the trip and like film some pieces for social media and maybe film a short video. But since it was just such a whirlwind of a trip, I was like, okay, I'm actually gonna turn this into like a long form piece of video.
Nice. And is that usually the same process with other stuff?
Usually I plan out kind of what I want to make leading up to ski seasons, just because things go so fast. So I'm like, okay, this season I'm going to make these videos. The last few seasons I had just made like a couple standalone videos. So this season I'm like, okay, I'm going to make like a series throughout the entire season. So that was kind of intentional, but I still stuck with the process of, I don't know what this is going to look like. I just know it's going to be some form of video series, and I'm going to figure it out as we go.
Do you also have that sort of same process when it comes to the shooting of it? Do you look at something like, say, skiers going down or conversations happening like at your church, and you're just thinking about, oh, I need to get this angle, this angle, this angle, or are you just more like run and gun, just capture it? What's your process for shooting those kind of things?
I'm definitely thinking about it beforehand, before I actually go and get the shot. I'm starting to get more intentional with like pre-planning and pre-production and stuff. And it's actually been TikTok that's kind of gotten me on more of like the planning side of things. But yeah, I mean, it just has to do with the shoot. Usually I'll have like a base set of things that I'm already know I'm gonna film, and I'll knock those things out. But also while I'm doing that, I'll see other things that I want to get.
On the topic of TikTok, so how did you start that, and what's your process for growing your presence on TikTok?
Yeah, so TikTok happened basically by complete accident. I got on the app last August, but I got an ad for it on some app, and the ad was a ski video, and at the time TikTok wasn't, like I said, it wasn't mainstream, so I don't know what I thought on TikTok. I thought it was just some bunch of weird stuff, but I saw, oh, okay, there's ski videos on there, whatever, I'm gonna download it. So I downloaded it, posted some video of my brother's truck that I had already shot, and it got 500,000 views instantly with 0 followers first video. And I was like, there's something here, there's definitely room for growth. And just ever since that first day, I've just been putting content on there and making content for it, and just have continued to grow. My strategy for growth, always try to make really good and kind of unique content, because TikTok's really built off of just other people making other people's videos. So I try to avoid that as much as possible and kind of just come up with my like own concepts and that type of stuff.
Are you noticing a bit of, I guess, a trend or a pattern, especially with your stuff? Like, is there types of content that you know that your followers are really looking for, so therefore you try and push that stuff out?
I really don't know what my followers want, because I've kind of purposely tried to make it that way. I've tried to just keep on making different videos that have zero correlation to each other, because I don't want to get stuck in a situation where I'm making the same type of video over and over and over, because that they'll get bored of it, and then for me, I'll get bored of it, and that will just creatively drain me if I have to keep on making the same thing over and over. I've really put a lot of effort into trying to create different types of videos each time I make, and it's really creatively draining doing that too, but in the end, it's pretty worth it.
Earlier, we talked about your more recent video, which was disruptive innovation, which I have to say, like, normally when I watch other people's sort of videos that are dealing with like inspiration and innovation, stuff like that, I mean, it's cool. A lot of the stuff looks really, really cool, but I was looking at your video, especially all the skiers that are going down the hill. I'm like, man, I gotta go out and do something. Because normally I don't go out and shoot anything. I'm more like, I do a lot of shooting of myself, and because I'm more movie oriented, I usually stick with stuff I've shot and film sets and stuff like that. So I was watching all the skiers going downhill. I'm thinking, man, I should do something a little more sportsy. I haven't done a sports video in a while. So what was the process of putting that together?
Yeah, so that was by far the biggest project I've ever worked on. It was kind of, when I first got into filming, when I was about 12, 13, like seriously starting shooting skiing, that was kind of always like an end goal of mine, because ski movies are huge in the ski world. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a ski movie one day. So I kind of worked up to it. Like I said, I did that series, and that was kind of like halfway getting there. I'm like, okay, a series. Now, if I put all these videos together, that's a movie. So I did that, and then I did a few other things, and then like spring, summer of 2018, I was like, okay, I think this upcoming season is the season that I'm going to do this. So I started kind of planning things out, figuring out what direction I want to take it. And then I spent from end of November to mid-July filming. I skied over like 120 days that season on snow filming. I filmed like 99% of everything myself. I traveled all over the country, and then I spent 2 months non-stop editing, and then I premiered it last November. It'll be like a year ago in like 5 days.
What's been the general response from it?
I mean, everybody likes it. People in the ski community, people outside of the ski community. At this point, it's been a year, and I'm like this with all my work. So at this point, I look at it and I'm like, it's not the greatest in the world. Could have done this better. But I'll still get feedback from it every once in a while, and people still seem to like it.
Do you ever have any sort of ambitions as to like how you want to take these type of videos to the next level, kind of thing?
For that was, like I said, it was kind of like the end goal. So right now I'm kind of trying to transition into not completely outside of the ski world, but to do some more stuff. Since I kind of did that, I have filmed every possible ski trick that can be done. I made a movie. So I kind of want to, like I said, move more into the traditional side of things, gain skills and knowledge there. And then I want to come back in like 10, 20 years and do another ski movie with the resources and knowledge that I'll have available then.
Would you also be comfortable with like, because I would imagine, I mean, what's very unique about your set of skills is the fact that you've had tons of years of practice of being able to record while skiing. So I'd imagine like your skill set would be useful for, say, the Olympics or other sports events dealing with skiing, or let's say a movie was being shot and they wanted to do a couple of things that include skiers. I'm imagining especially action movies, for instance. If that option was presented, is that also something that you're looking forward to, or do you want to stick to other things?
Maybe a little bit, but definitely not everything I do. I hate the idea of getting stuck in a box of doing one thing, and that has been my biggest concern over the last like 2 years. Is I don't want to get stuck in this box of just being a ski filmer. I want to do more than that. So I would definitely like I wouldn't mind doing that type of stuff like every once in a while, but I wouldn't want to be doing every single day, because then I'm still the ski guy or whatever. I want to just do every single possible thing I can.
Is there just an idea of like, oh, I want to try other things, or is there any specific endeavors that you want to try out?
Right now, I'm mostly interested in getting on just like larger sets, because everything I've done up until now, it's literally been me doing everything. So I want to start working on like larger projects because I feel like I've almost reached the max of what one can do by himself. So I kind of want to start working more in team environments, doing larger stuff, directing, DPing, camera operating, whatever. I just want to kind of get on set and start learning more of that process of working on that environment.
And with that, I mean, I already talked to you about, you know, sort of your future endeavors. I'm just curious, is there any upcoming projects that you want to give a bit of a shout out?
I really don't have anything like major. I'm kind of hyper focusing on social media, TikTok type of stuff right now, and kind of seeing where I can get that, because I've kind of realized that I can grow that, and then from that work will come. So that's kind of what I've been doing right now.
Fantastic. And finally, just my final question is, let's say there is sort of like a beginner filmmaker that wants to get into maybe not even necessarily like sports action, like the stuff that you've done, maybe documentary, but especially filmmaking in general. Is there any advice that you would give to someone like that that's just starting?
It's basic and everybody says it, but just shoot as much as you can, because that truly is how you improve. You shoot, you come home, you watch an edit your footage, you're like, that kind of sucks, and then you go out the next day and you fix it. And sharing your work on social media is also a big one that's been huge for me. You get feedback from other people, and then your work also garners attention. And if you truly want to make a career out of it, you need eyes and people watching it, because those are the people who are going to pay you. They're like, hey, I saw you on Instagram, I really like this. Like, the amount of DMs I've gotten from people telling me that they just saw some stupid TikTok that I made and now they want to hire me to do like an actual video. Shoot as much as you can and share your work on social media.
That's crazy. Yeah, 100%. What's the saying? Something like you have to work 10,000 hours or something like that in order to get good at it. But I especially love the advice that you just gave about, you know, putting the stuff on social media, because, you know, one of the big things that I certainly believe in, especially for filmmakers nowadays, is it's not like in the old days where they didn't have social media and it was very hard to spread word of your examples and your skill sets and all this stuff. But now you have free platforms where you can show this stuff to everyone all across the world. Insane.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, back like 20 years ago, the way you did it was you went to film school, and that's how you built out your network and stuff. But you don't need that to build your network anymore, and you don't need it anymore to learn about the process. So yeah, social media is a super powerful tool.
Well, again, thank you so much, Colby. There was so much that we talked about. I want to thank you so much for being on this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and if any of you guys want to follow Colby, if you guys want to check out his videos, his social media links, we have all that down in the description down below. If you want to subscribe, we have his channel down below too. Check out his latest film, Disruptive Innovation. Highly recommend it. It was really, really cool. And if you got value out of this, make sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe, because we got weekly content coming out. Good luck with your videos. Keep shooting, and we'll see you next time.